Good afternoon. I'm Brendan Doherty.
I'm Tyler Moyer, and this is the voice of Duquesne Live. Maggie Patterson, professor of journalism at Duquesne University, unexpectedly passed away Sunday evening. Professor Patterson, known fondly as Maggie to many of her students, has worked at Duquesne for 42 years and served as the chair of the Student Publications Board. As chair of the Student Pub Board, Maggie produced the 100th anniversary of the Duquesne Duke event that coincided with her recent retirement this semester. Maggie is a former reporter for the Pittsburgh Press and co-authored 4 books. She was an active article author focusing on international journalism ethics. Last week, the music school brought in an expert to teach a piano masterclass right here at Duquesne. Our Madeline Grolman has more with the story.
Hi, this is Madeline Grolman from the Voice of Duquesne Live. I'm at Mary Poppert School of Music, and today we're checking out a masterclass with Barbara Neeson. Let's check it out. World-renowned pianist Barbara Neeson visited Duquesne University on Wednesday, November 5th for a free public masterclass held in PNC Recital Hall at the Mary Poppert School of Music. The event ran from 3 to 4 p.m. and drew music students, faculty, and local community members. Parking for the event was available in Chatham Garage on 5th Avenue, and the masterclass was part of Duquesne's effort to bring distinguished artists to campus and connect classical performances with the local community. The program consisted of 2 Duquesne students, Jordan Bringard and Nicole Perez Gomez, who each practiced and performed pieces they had learned in advance. Barbara listened to the students' pieces and then gave them tips and tricks on how to improve. I got the chance to speak with one of the students performing, Jordan, and I asked what it meant to her that Barbara came to Duquesne.
So overall, I've seen Barbara Nisman before doing various master classes, and she is particularly an expert in the areas of Prokofiev, Bartok. So the fact that I got to play for her today, in her specialty area, I thought that was a really special thing. So she has so many tips on just character and color and texture. So I think overall, just performance in general, I took a lot out of.
I also asked Jordan what stuck out to her from the lesson, and she said,
So something that really stuck out to me during my masterclass today was phrasing. A big part of music is just direction. It's more horizontal than we think it is sometimes. So it's a lot of where are we heading? How much should I be giving here? How much sound? How am I going to be shaping it? Which I think she gave really good tips on today.
Stay tuned for more events hosted by the Music School. This is Madeline Rowan signing out from the Voice of Duquesne Live.
Thank you, Madeline. Now in sports. After finishing the 2025 season with an overall record of 12-5-2, the Duquesne's women's soccer team fell short of moving on to the A10 championship semifinals. On Saturday, November 1st, the Dukes and Rams were tied 1 apiece through 110 minutes. Fordham then outscored Duquesne 6-5 in penalty kicks to knock out the Dukes. Head coach Jessica Geiges said, "They're a special group. I hope they feel good about what they did this season, and in the current moment it hurts a little bit, but I hope the entirety of the team is proud of what they've become. I feel special because of the community." 11 seniors played in what would be their final game for Duquesne, concluding their respective careers with a combined 190 points.
The Duquesne men's soccer team concluded its 2025 season Saturday, November 1st, finishing with an overall record of 8-6-2. The game was scoreless through the first half, and just over 2 minutes into the second half, George Mason scored off of a header, which proved to be the game winner. Head coach Chase Brooks said, "We just have to move forward, keep driving, and stick to the process. We talked about leaving tonight with no regrets, and I think we were able to do that. The guys literally gave everything. It's now just about getting over the hump, finding the back of the net, and putting those W's in place." The Dukes honored their latest senior class, which included Sam Bennett, Diego Chavez, Ashton Gell, and Grant McIntosh. Despite missing the playoffs, the Dukes are prepared to take a step forward next season as they return each of their top 7 scorers from 2025.
Women's volleyball hosted St. Louis and Davidson last week, extending their winning streak to 6. The Dukes swept the Billikens, winning 3-0. Emerson Skrom finished the game with 11 kills, 7 digs, 2 aces, and a .310 hitting percentage. After this victory, head coach Steve Opperman said, "Nice solid effort for our team tonight to pick up a win. We limited our errors and did a nice job of putting balls away. We did a good job of getting St. Louis out of system, and it turned into transition points for us. Looking to battle again tomorrow as every match is a grind in the A10. The Dukes finished the doubleheader off with another win 3-1, with another notable performance by Skrom, who provided 13 aces, 25 kills, and 11 digs. With these stats, Skrom now ranks 6th in program history for single-season kills, and senior Ariel Helm finished a team-high 7 blocks in the game. The The next game, the Dukes dominated the Davidson Wildcats at home, taking the win 3-1. The Dukes lost the first set 21-25, but found their rhythm in the second set, putting up a score of 25-15, and continued their momentum, winning the third set 25-22 and the fourth set 25-21. Junior Jordan Robertson tallied a team-high 6 blocks and 5 kills in the match. In the following match, the Dukes defeated the Wildcats again 3-1. Duquesne had a slow start to the game, losing the first set, but got into a rhythm and won the next 3. With this win, Duquesne clinched their spot in the A10 tournament. Head coach Steve Opperman said he was very pleased with our team's performance today. We started a little slow in set 1 and then didn't look back from there. It was great to clinch our bid at home and now work on seeding next weekend. The Dukes will travel to George Washington this weekend in hopes to continue their winning streak.
2 weeks ago, the women's rowing team continued its 2025 season in Fairfax, Virginia, at the head of the Occoquan, earning 5 medals. The Dukes started the day with 2 varsity 8s, coaxed by Paige Engel and Serena DeCosmo, and finishing in 5th and 6th place. Coaxed by Caitlin Langford and Kat Muha, 2 8s were entered in the junior varsity category, placing 3rd and 7th. The Dukes also competed with 2 boats in the freshman category to place 1st and 3rd. In the afternoon, Duquesne launched 2 varsity 4s and 2 junior varsity 4s. The varsity 4s earned 6th and 8th place, while the junior varsity finished 1st and 4th. The Dukes will finish their fall season in Morgantown, West Virginia, with a scrimmage against WVU.
On November 1st, Duquesne's men and women's cross-country teams traveled to Cedarville, Ohio for the A10 championship at the Elvin R. King cross-country course. Gina Bola led the way for Duquesne in the women's 6K race, placing 33rd with a time of 22 minutes. Freshman Sylvia Koschak crossed the line just 27 seconds later, earning herself 53rd place. In the men's 8K race, it was Ben Shields who paced the Dukes, placing 42nd with a time just under 25 minutes. All 10 runners for the men's team finished the course within a minute of each other. Both teams would finish their respective competitions 12th out of the 13 A10 schools. Following the A10 championships, both teams headed to Loretto, Pennsylvania for the Red Flash Invitational hosted by St. Francis University. It was a dominating performance from the Dukes in this one as freshmen Gianna Mosca and Kyle Kochanski each took home first place. Mosca finished with a time of 16 minutes in the women's 6K race, crossing 6 seconds before the runner-up. And in the men's 8K, Kochanski defeated all other competitors by a full 40 seconds, finishing with a time of 22 minutes. Next up for the Dukes is a trip across the state for the NCAA Mid-Atlantic Regional at Lehigh University to round out the season.
Last week, Duquesne hosted the 6th Annual National Tech Ethics Symposium. Let's head to R. Donovan Shanley to learn more.
On Thursday and Friday, Duquesne hosted the annual Tech Ethics Symposium, where people with different colleges and companies got to talk about the developments of technology. This year, the focus was on artificial intelligence and how it can be used or misused in different fields. There was also an opportunity for different students to show presentations of how AI can be used for different fields and the benefits and drawbacks of it.
The symposium was a 2-day event held in the Power Center Ballroom on November 6th and 7th. It featured many different people who worked in different industries such as NVIDIA and Google, and different colleges such as Columbia and Carnegie Mellon, just to name a few. The people in the symposium worked in a diverse amount of fields, and that allowed for many different discussions on the pros and cons of AI development. Conversations included how much AI should be relied upon by consumers, how professors and students can use it in their work, and how AI is being used in the news. After those discussions, the event featured a panel where students presented research posters of different fields where artificial intelligence is being used. Students were also able to compete for 5 different cash prizes.
So currently students from various disciplines are discussing AI and ethical considerations, which I think is very important as we continue to make strides with using AI in our everyday life. I focused my presentation on recommendation systems and how AI is being used in the world of finance.
Hi, I'm an undergraduate student here at Duquesne University. My poster was on Do College Students Crave AI? I used a voluntary informal survey to find out if college students crave artificial intelligence. In conclusion, college students do not crave artificial intelligence, but some do show emotional dependence on AI. It's important that we stay concerned for Generation Alpha because Gen Alpha may be addicted to AI in the same way that we as Gen Z are addicted to social media.
This is Donovan Shanley. After the symposium, it was definitely a very interesting conversation about how AI can be used in different fields, and I definitely learned a lot of new things about AI from the presentations and from the discussions. So yeah, a very interesting thing to talk about. Back to you guys.
Thank you. Now, more in sports. The Duquesne's men's basketball team tipped off their season with 3 straight home games. Last Monday, the Dukes opened their 2025 campaign with a win over Niagara, highlighted by shooting 56% from the field. Then on Friday, the Dukes won over Sacred Heart 92-80 after getting 25 points apiece from Jonathan Hoogley and Terrence Ginyard. In their most recent game, the Dukes pulled away from Queens in an overtime thriller on Tuesday night, defeating the Royals 87-81. Leading the way for the Dukes was John Hoogley, who put up 27 points in 34 minutes. Winning the first three games, Duquesne improved to 3-0 for the first time since the 2019-20 season. Up next for the Dukes is a Saturday night game on the road to take on the Villanova Wildcats.
The Duquesne women's basketball team opened their 2025 season in dominant fashion. They kicked off their season last Monday at home, cruising past Sacred Heart, with 5 players finishing in double figures and forcing 30 turnovers. Last Thursday, the Dukes posted their second largest win margin in program history, dominating Slippery Rock 108-53, with 6 players finishing in double figures. The Dukes then hit the road and secured their first road win of the season, beating Western Michigan in a close game this past Sunday. On Tuesday, the Dukes crossed the century mark for the second time this season, defeating West Liberty and starting 4-0 for the first time since the 2009-2010 season. The Dukes are off until Tuesday when they travel to Moon Township to take on Robert Morris.
The Duquesne bowling team returned to action this weekend at the NEC No. 1 tournament in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania. The team finished with a record of 7-5 over the course of the 3-day tournament, earning them 3rd place in the competition. Junior Mary Beth Baker led the way for the Dukes, collecting 1,282 pins and an average score of 213.67. The effort from Baker was rewarded as she received all-tournament team recognition. Freshman Taylor Miller also had a strong showing for the Dukes in this one, earning herself a 2nd NEC Rookie of the Week award. Next up for the Dukes is a trip to Tulane for the Colonial Lanes Classic on November 21st to 23rd.
This past weekend, the Duquesne triathlon team traveled to Tempe, Arizona for the Division I National Championship. The tournament was a success for the Dukes as they finished 9th in the nation. Freshman Cadence Rebink led the way, recording the best individual time in the program's 3-year history. Rebink completed the 750-meter swim, 20K bike, and 5K run in just over an hour, placing 31st overall out of the 190 competitors. Catherine Staley posted Duquesne's top swim split at 10 minutes and 47 seconds, while Rebink paced the team on both the bike and the run with times of 35 minutes and 18 minutes. This 9th place finish marks the second in back-to-back years for Duquesne.
The women's swim and dive team returned with a split squad this weekend on Saturday. The swimmers competed at the Towers Pool versus St. Peter's, while the divers traveled to Clarion to compete in the Clarion Fall Invite. At home, the swimmers totaled 23 top 3 finishes, including 10 golds. The Dukes dominated in the 1,000-yard freestyle, with Sierra Snow winning gold, and Danica Wright and Nora Kotnick claimed silver and bronze. The Dukes also swept the 200-yard freestyle, with Lucy Backus earning 1st, and Julia Sobun and Aislinn Mooney finishing 2nd and 3rd. Emily Kyer earned gold in the 200-yard butterfly, and Caitlin Horning claimed bronze. The 50-yard freestyle saw another sweep by Caitlin Connors, Sydney Severini, and Simpson. Sundgren claimed gold in the 100-yard freestyle, and Sobun claimed silver in the 200-yard backstroke. Friel finished with gold, while Kotnick and Klotz finished with silver and bronze. Severini also received gold in the 200-yard breaststroke. At Clarion, senior Ashley Filitsky claimed gold in the 1-meter, Brianne Dempsey took silver, and Lola Dragosavic claimed bronze. In the 3-meter, Filitsky placed 3rd overall. Head coach David Sheets said, "I was incredibly happy with how the ladies supported each other today. We were able to swim events we don't normally compete in, and they still got up and raced with intent. We are in a good place, but we'll keep getting better next week."
The Dukes trailed 8-0 in the first quarter before senior Matt Clark made a 20-yard field goal to put the Dukes on the board. LIU then went on to score 21 unanswered points in the second and third quarters. In the fourth quarter, a successful touchdown pass from Tyler Riddell to Jermaine Johnson brought the Dukes points, and then a completed two-point conversion brought the score to 29-11. Duquesne rushed for a total of 203 yards, led by Ness Davis, who brought 91 yards with 23 carries, as well as 36 receiving yards. Defensively, Dallas Harper had his team-leading third interception of the season, and Jack Dunkley recorded a career-high 6 tackles. The Dukes are now 3-2 in conference play and 5-5 overall. They will host Central Connecticut State at Rooney Field this Saturday for Game 11. Now, let's head over to Morgan Carr with this week's weather.
All right, thanks guys. Now let's start with the Pittsburgh weather. It is officially winter weather here in Pittsburgh. We saw some snow flurries throughout the day, not so much this week. We're going to see more rain. We have that cloudy sky with some sun, that high of 51 and that low of 32 coming for Friday. Now on Saturday, we have that 45% chance of rain with that high of 58 and that low of 33. The rain is staying when we go into Sunday with that 65% chance of rain, that 58 high and that 37 low. Then we're moving right into Monday with bright sun in the sky, but we have a 44 high and a 32 low, so jackets are definitely a must as we move in. We're going right into Tuesday. That rain is keeping going with that 40% chance, that 47 high and that 31 low. Keeping the rain Wednesday with that 60% chance, that 57 high and that 44 low. And moving into Thursday, again, rain, 50% chance, that 50 high and that 40 low here in Pittsburgh. Now we're finally in Rome, a little bit nicer here, still some warm weather, but the rain is going to hit the end of that week. So tomorrow, bright sun in the sky with that 68 high and that 47 low. We move into Saturday, clouds are going to be coming into Rome with that 69 high and that 54 low. But the weather keeps going up on Sunday with clouds in the sky with that 70 high and that 53 low. Moving into Monday, rain is finally coming in, 50% chance with that 70 high and that 57 low. Now all that warm weather is kind of going to be a waste as we come into the thunderstorms you're going to be expecting on Tuesday with that 65% chance of rain, that 66 high and that 53 low. Again, thunderstorms on Wednesday with that 80% chance and 63 high and that 55 low. And then the weather continues to plummet as we hit Thursday, 60% chance of just rain, but that 60 high and that 52 low in Rome. All right, and now we have Dublin, who is not experiencing too much rain as we get into some colder weather. So we have a 90% chance of rain tomorrow with that 51 high and that 45 low, but it's going to get a little bit better. Saturday, we have that 90% chance, 49 high and that 45 low. And then Sunday, no rain and just clouds in the sky with that 48 high and that 46 low. We're going right into Monday. Finally, some sun is showing up, but we have a 46 high and a 38 low, so jackets are going to be needed in Dublin. Then we got those clouds in the sky Tuesday, 45 high, that 38 low. And then Wednesday, we have 50% chance of rain with that 44 high and that 36 low. And finally, we're going to see just some sun in the sky Thursday with that 41 high and that 34 low. But it does mean that it's officially going to be cold in Dublin from here on out. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Morgan. Last, on Thursday, former Vice President Mike Pence visited Duquesne University as a part of Duquesne's Civil Discourse series. The series explores the importance of respectful dialogue, even on challenging topics. This annual event is presented in partnership with the Division of Student Life and is open to all university students, faculty, and staff. With Duquesne being a Catholic university, Pence reflected on faith during his time here. Even though he's no longer a Catholic, he shared that his faith still drives him. During this event, the former vice president talked about topics of faith and civility. One topic he mentioned was the inauguration of Joe Biden, more commonly known as the day people stormed the Capitol building. Many people viewed this visit as a good educational experience for students and an exciting event for the university. It was an opportunity for students, professors, administrators, and everyone else to grasp a new perspective. Another topic he covered was the current tariff situation and the ongoing government shutdown. Pence mentioned that he hopes that the Supreme Court will come to the decision to reverse this. He said, "Tariffs are paid by American businesses and American consumers and are ultimately suppressing economic growth." This civil discourse series dates back to 2017, where they focus on the topic of racial and cultural understanding in a new era. Various other hard-hitting topics, including media, education, faith, voting, and more, all led up to the 2025 edition, Faith, Civility, and Public Service. Every edition of this series has covered topics that are presently relevant and can impact people's lives. With topics like these events can be an incredible learning experience to anyone and everyone. Regardless of someone's age, education history, or status, we all can always learn something new any day. These events are a great way to do that, so be on the lookout for the next addition to the Civil Discourse series.
Last Tuesday, VODL had election coverage focusing on Pittsburgh and beyond. Here's a quick look at what happened.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Kylie Crocus.
And I'm Tyler Moyer, and this is a special report from the Voice of Duquesne Live for Election Night 2025.
So there have been a lot of interesting things happening with voting, causing people to have a delay in their voting or causing some people that might not even have been able to vote. So voters in Pittsburgh, in the Lincoln-Leamington neighborhood, faced unexpected delays this morning when a polling location was unable to open on time due to locked away voting equipment. On another voting location, this article here is from ABC 27. It says, Election Day in Pennsylvania saw a huge voter turnout, though bomb threats were called into some polling places.
Well, to answer your question, I don't. I think that students are very engaged, and maybe more than ever before. But there's a lot of misinformation in the world of social media, and I think that on a certain level, it's not really their fault that they're not well informed. I do believe that a lot of students are informed. I just don't know if the majority are well informed. I think there is a lot of misinformation that we still have to tackle. I do think that the best way to stay well informed is to not always be watching the news, not always be reading the news, but kind of when you're reading it and watching it, just step aside for a second and just take everything you read or watch and with the idea that you have an open mind. Yeah.
I am going to be talking to political analyst Dr. Joe Mystic.
This is how we take care of those who are less fortunate. This is how we grow our communities, how we manage to care for our families and make sure that everyone is safe. Aristotle said many years ago that towns should be built so as to protect their inhabitants and at the same time make them happy. And unless you vote, you have no way of seeing that happens. I can tell you that the most satisfying events in my life and the best relationships were all a result of my participation in our body politic, in our governmental system. Well, we need a very smart mayor. Corey O'Connor's a smart man, but even the smartest person in the world would have a tough time figuring out some of the problems that he's going to encounter when he comes into office. Everything's going in the wrong direction. Costs are going up and revenue is going down.
But back to the election that does have voters, the Virginia one, Abigail Spanberger is taking a very commanding lead.
New Jersey governor, another big win for the Democrats. Mike Sherrill with 60.5% of the vote. The race has been called for Mamdani. We are 60% of the way in.
But ever since 1968, when the Constitution was redone, it was set up to not have political-based elections of judges. Specifically, the retention election was meant to be, in my view, a fail-safe in case some judge or justice was not doing their sworn duty. So it has really troubled me, and I've spoken out on this in a few cases, that there's been an effort directly to politicize this retention election, specifically with respect to the PA Supreme Court justices, in a way that's never happened before. It is to counteract what is clearly an unfair maneuver in Texas to try to gain an unfair advantage in the 2026 election by, doing this prematurely when you're not supposed to. That Corey O'Connor has been called officially as mayor, our next mayor of the city of Pittsburgh. So I'd like to congratulate Corey as the mayor-elect. Many of you know he is a 2007 graduate of Duquesne. He was in the School of Education.
I am humbled and inspired by the great honor and privilege of serving as your next mayor. No matter who you supported tonight, we are united in the fight for a safer, more transparent, and more robust city.
It's hard to relate to presidential candidates, but it's a lot easier to relate to local candidates who really know the area, who really knows particular places. And I think that clearly O'Connor's campaign knocked it out of the park here.
His campaign really focused on city finances, public safety, and affordable housing, which are all primary issues for Pittsburgh citizens. Voters showed concern about downtown vacancies, budget shortfalls, and crime.
Housing is a top concern for voters in Pittsburgh currently, but O'Connor wants to encourage housing abundance, reform/permit zoning, and transit-oriented overlay.
They all want change. It's basic. It's a basic premise. They want change. It's been now 8 years of people saying they want specific changes, and everybody talks about it, but nobody does anything. And I hope, and I pray that going forward, Corey O'Connor, you do us right. Good luck. This is what you were trying to get to, and you're here now. Use all those tools that are before you to make this city better.
Thanks, and make sure to go and watch the coverage to stay informed. On Halloween, the Division of Student Life hosted this year's Wicked Halloween celebration. This took place in the second floor atrium of the Student Union. The event included a variety of Wicked-themed games, food, and even a raffle. These included a self-serve candy station, popcorn, orange sherbet with green or pink punch, a selfie station, face painting, a caricature artist, and a Wicked trivia game. There were also plenty of people dressed up in Oz-inspired costumes.
The Creepin' It Real Halloween Dance, hosted by Residence Life, RHA, and Student Life, took place on Friday, October 31st from 8 to 11 p.m. in the Union Ballroom. Students were asked to wear their spookiest costumes for free food, including buffalo chicken dip, mac and cheese, and pretzels. Students Ryan Kozich and Garrett Ziegler stated that they enjoyed the dance for the short period of time that they were there, along with the purple and green mocktails. Freshman Ben Francis stated that he enjoyed the group photo area, and adding the DJ was a good move by the organizers.
The Mary Papert School of Music is hosting their end-of-the-year concerts as the fall semester rounds out. Betsy Bodwin was on scene for the Duquesne Symphony Orchestra Tuesday. We'll head to her for more of the story.
On Tuesday night, the Duquesne Symphony Orchestra held a concert in the Power Center Ballroom. The Duquesne University Symphony Orchestra held a performance directed by Daniel Meyer, the director of orchestral activities.
It was so nice to go to the orchestra today and see all of my friends in the symphony, and all of their pieces were so complex and impressive.
The symphony performed 3 different complex pieces by composers such as Jean Sibelius, Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov, and Randall Thompson. Freshman Rocky Ball attended to support his friends in the orchestra, saying, "I love having talented friends, and I know they enjoy when we come to see them." You can watch the live stream of the orchestra through the IEMMA broadcast network at duke.edu/IBN. The Mary Papert School of Music regularly has events such as this one. For more info on the events, go to duq.edu/music events. This is Betsy Bodwood with the Voice of Duquesne Live, signing off.
Thank you, Betsy. On Wednesday, November 5th, Duquesne Student Government Association held an important meeting as we move further along in the semester. The winter season is one of the busiest and most expensive times of the year for SGA, who put major emphasis on giving back to the community for Thanksgiving, Christmas events, and budgeting throughout this meeting. The most notable events that were being looked forward to were last week's Night of Lights, the Turkey Drive, helping those affected by the government shutdown, and the Winter Ball. The SGA also went over approval and denial of student organizations, training for SGA senators, and the installation of senators and senators at large. This meeting was a productive one, filled with hope for the remainder of the semester.
Last Friday, Night of Lights happened on the Bluff. Now, we're going to take a look at what our reporters learned live.
Hi, and good evening, and welcome to the Voice of Duquesne Live with a special edition of Night of Lights. I'm Morgan Carr, and I'll be your host for the evening. Thank you so much for tuning in.
What does this event mean to Duquesne? Obviously, this is like a tradition. Now, what does this mean to Duquesne, specifically this year?
Well, this is the kickoff of Christmas season. I mean, and so it's a reminder that we're here as a Catholic institution to celebrate the birth of Christ on Christmas, but also the community that we have here at Duquesne University, which is really special. It's like a family.
Thank you all from the bottom of my heart so much for being here tonight. And I know some of my students already approached me and said, I think it might be a little bit early for Christmas on the Bluff. And I admit, sometimes I have that same thought, but I saw that the trees were up at PPG and Target, and I figured, why not?
May these lights remind us of the nearness of the Holy Spirit who guides this university.
Beyond the decorations, tonight is about cherishing our Duquesne community, the friendships we've built, the memories we've shared, and the traditions that bring us together.
So as we illuminate our campus this evening, let's also embrace the true spirit of Christmas, of sharing our blessings, showing kindness, and rejoicing in the gift of this campus community. Okay, are you ready out there? Join me in counting with these guys, and when we get to 1, we're going to throw it up. When we get to 0. Okay, are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Light the switch.
And now, what is your favorite thing that you're looking forward to tonight, like station-wise? I know we have stuffing a bear in there. We have a lot going on,
So many things. I'm definitely an animal fan, so the petting zoo is a big perk, including the baby yak. Amazing. Hot chocolate, pictures with Santa and Mrs. Claus, the lights themselves. I mean, there's so many great things.
That's definitely right. And then now, just on the Christmas season, what would you like for Christmas this year? If you could get anything.
Okay, this may sound cheesy, but I really just want time with my family. My son is abroad in Madrid right now, and he's coming home on December 21st. So we're going to have time together as a whole family for Christmas. And that's really what the spirit of Christmas is all about. Not things, but people and love.
That's another really fun table. Holiday card creations, a lot of fun. Looks like, sorry, can we get a camera over here? Sorry, do you care if I video your card? It says Merry Christmas. Why is there a question mark?
He forgot what he was writing halfway through.
That's okay. It's very creative. We got some gingerbread men. I like it. All right, let's head over here. Oh my gosh, that's so adorable. Has it been popular over here tonight?
And look, there's like a little birth certificate they can fill out too.
That is so much fun. What is this one's name? Did we name her or him?
We named it, yeah. This is the final one. So I think we should name it and adopt it.
They should name it and adopt it. Yeah, that'd be great. You know what I mean? No homeless snowmen.
Right.
Yeah. What do we think? What would I think be a good name? I'm just thinking Santa Claus. Or like Santa Claus or Frosty, maybe. You know, like a good classic. Classic. Yeah, a little hat would be adorable. Has it been? It's been really popular.
Yes, it has. We sold out in like the first hour.
Wow, looks like no snowmen for me, sadly, but that's okay.
There's a lot more lights this year, just more activities, more food, kind of more everything. But I don't think students realize how much effort goes into we have to squirrel-proof the lights outside. All of that. Yeah, you've seen them on campus. So, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, making sure we have all the clearances we need for the animals and the horses and the lighting to go off and all of that stuff. So it's a big effort.
What is the favorite part about tonight?
I think I have 2. When I see a new student that's new to Duquesne experience for the first time and feel like I'm a part of this community, I really love that. And then seeing people I went to school with come back with their kids and come to this, that's a really cool thing to see.
and I'm here with the Duquesne dance team. I was wondering, what's your favorite part of the event so far?
I really just love like the spirit of Duquesne and the spirit of Christmas. It's really nice to have like the community on campus.
So tonight we just finished. We had some mac and cheese, we had ham, chicken, sweet potatoes, Caesar salad and rolls to top it off.
Really great rolls. The rolls were really
But
good.
we are looking for the dessert after this.
Yes,
so we will be on our
really
way.
excited for dessert. I think there were some cupcakes and cookies over there.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we're a steel drum band. It's just a group of students that get together and play steel pan, steel drum. It comes out of the honors class, the steel drum class. It comes out of the Center for African Studies. So we have a bunch of steel drums and we play them, and it's open to all students.
Thank you, and be sure to watch the full coverage on the DSR YouTube channel. SGA President Nick Miller sat down with the legendary Holy Ghost priest, Father Hogan. Yes, there really is a real Father Hogan. Father Hogan was the vice president for student life for nearly 3 decades, from 1986 to 2015. As vice president of student life, dozens of offices reported to him, all serving students. Enjoy this interview as Father Hogan reminisces about his time at Duquesne and the origins of the Night of Lights.
I was a priest, a missionary in Nairobi, Kenya. The Cardinal Archbishop asked me to come to the States to raise some money for him. Well, I went around from parish to parish, coast to coast, raising money. That was my main job. And eventually, Father Nesty was becoming president, and he asked me to come in and work at Duquesne, which I told him I had a job, and he said, you can do that at weekends. So I had 2 jobs for quite some years. Well, first of all, the money went to Nairobi. I raised money, 2 scholarships from my own name and my parents' name that went out to students who needed it. Eventually I became the director of that, and that was when I resigned from the vice president for student life. Well, Father McAnulty had been president, and years later we were having luncheon in the Seaford Suite, and we came out onto Academic Walk, and he stopped and he looked around and he said, this is what I hoped Duquesne would always look like. We had put the bricks on the Academic Walk. It really upgraded the campus. Well, with 2 new schools, 3 new schools. Rangos came in the late 80s. Now we have a School of Medicine and a School of Engineering, which is geared toward medical, not mechanical engineering. Is geared toward medical facilities and that's going very well. I found out at a basketball game one night, somebody had decided to do a bobblehead of me and hand it out at the basketball game. I was, frustrated a little, but if it's good for the university, it was good for me, So that was important. I don't remember. It was in the 80s anyway, whatever it was, and John Murray and I had worked on it. And Sharon Goddard came to me one day and said, come down and we want to walk the towers and talk about upgrading. She was waiting for me at the towers and she'd come up to the dining room. For what? To just come up. The pile of kids there and faculty and staff and that, and he was naming the dining hall after me. I was mad. The problem was that there was very little going on at Duquesne for students. So I got a crowd of kids together and they discussed it and they said, let's have Night of Nights. But somebody objected to that. The city called us and said that was unacceptable. They had already patented that name and we better get another name. But we got another name and it has worked very well. It's grown and, you know, the president came to that first event and they've increased it, the kids have increased it now with horses, carriage and whatever, and we've developed it. We haven't developed it enough with lights, but I think we should develop the lights more, but what do we call it now? Night of Lights, is it? Night of Lights, yeah. But, you know, it's a nice event preparing for the holiday season. Well, the Christmas season, everybody's away. But that's why we had the Night of Lights again, prepare for Christmas and that. But Christmas is a season of hope. And something I think is very important that we celebrate it as a season of hope. And I think a lot of people do, and families get together and, you know, for Thanksgiving and Christmas and that. And it's a special season for us, for Christmas of hope. And but the kids, I think, get into the concept of this Christmas event by having events like the Night of Lights and Christmas Mass and whatever, okay? Well, what I said initially, Christmas is a time of hope. And I hope they get the spirit of hope in their lives. Spirit of Christmas, which is the giving of the Son of God. And that's very important in the development of the characters of the kids, that they develop a hope.
Thank you. Throughout the month of November, EdTech will be offering its Backward Design series. In this three-part series, faculty will be taken through the backward design process, starting with course learning objectives and best practices in course design, and continuing through the process of assessing adults and designing learning activities that both engage and help students practice and master the skills outlined by the learning objectives. Part 3 learning activities will be on November 19th from 1 to 1:30 p.m. I am Brendan Doherty.
I'm Tyler Moyer. Hope to see you next Thursday.